Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Writers Business School free webinar, Creating a Social Media Plan and How Much Time You Should Devote to This. I'm Rona Gostein, one of the founders of the Writers Business School. I am published as Rachel Kenley. I write romance novels, and I am going to be leading this call with you tonight. I know this is a huge challenge for lots of people. We are on social media a lot, but we don't necessarily use a plan to make it support our business. We just kind of put things out there and hope. So I'm going to take the hope away and put a little more business and results into your social media time. So let's get going. First, the bad news. I'm going to get this out of the way. Social media is not for sales. Now, I know many of you obviously heard about tonight's webinar using social media, but remember, I didn't sell you anything. I offered you something for free. I also found a way to make sure I had a way to get in touch with you again afterwards because you gave me your email and I got a chance to follow up with you. So that is not a flat sale. Social media is not for sales. You should not be trying to sell your books on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or any of the other social media outlets out there. And we all know that there is a ridiculous number of them. It's meant to be social. Social media is about creating connection, reaching out and finding people who connect naturally with you and what you care about most, and what you write about as well, ultimately. Because what you don't want to be is that person who posts, buy my book, please, review my book, please. It feels like begging. Occasionally it will also feel kind of smarmy and uncomfortable potentially for you. It's a one-sided, one-way call to action, and it really isn't what you want to use social media for. So now that we've got the bad news out of the way, let me tell you a little bit about what we're going to cover tonight. Why you should use social media, the ways you can use it to make an impact, creating a 4-month plan, or a 1-month plan, I should say, actually 4 weeks, 4 to 5 weeks. And I'm going to have a download for you during the presentation, and how to carve out the time that you need to do this, because a lot of us say that we don't have the time for actually doing business. We need to write. We don't have that much time, but really it doesn't take a lot, and with some consistency and with some planning, you really can get a lot accomplished. So before you begin, you really want to know why. You don't want to just be on social media because everybody else is. There was a time when everyone said you have to have a website and you have to have a blog, and then you have to, now it's you have to have a Facebook page, and you need a personal one and a professional one. Okay, so you've heard over and over again that you should have one, but the why eludes most of us. Okay, so when you think about your business, you want to think about the why, and you're going to post on social media for one of 3 reasons. 1, to connect to your audience and readers. So again, putting the accent on the word social, this is a way to expose something. Expose isn't the word I was going for. Explain something, share something, offer something, say something, tell something. It can be about what you're writing, and it could be about what you're watching on television. I have authors I've connected with through a shared love of a television series or 2. You also want to think in terms, when you're using social media for business, not when you're just posting about your cat or when you're posting about how dinner didn't turn out. Sorry, that was personal. You want to think about adding value. The posts that you remember, the post that you spent time on today, not you posting but you looking at, added some value to your day somehow. Either it was because it was from someone you cared about and liked hearing about, I got to see a picture of my cousin who's overseas. That added value to my day, knowing she's well. Or maybe it simply added value by making you smile and laugh. You know, all those kitten, otter, puppy, baby laughing videos do have a purpose, and they do add value. I will go on Facebook sometimes just to smile and laugh. I have a lot of friends who post funny things. And right now, there are times in my day when I really need that. So that's adding value. So you want to think about why and how you can add value when you post. And finally, to potentially establish yourself as an authority. Now, yes, you're an authority on your books, but there's one or two subjects, and maybe more, that you are a true authority on. You love it. You're known for it. People ask you about it. They call you about it. It could be how creative you are in the kitchen. It could be something general like that. It could be something specific, like your grandmother's cookie recipes that you have perfected. You could be an authority on all things pop culture or theater. I have friends who ask me about theater questions all the time. So think about the things you're an authority on, things that you can share, because that too goes back to number one and number two. You will connect to your audience and readers, and you will add value. I just read something on X, and I wanted you to read about it too. It made me think of this, or it made me reevaluate Y, whatever it is. So you will establish yourself as somebody who knows a lot about a particular subject or subjects. Ultimately, what you're working on is to make an impact. An impact is something, I mean, think about things that impact us. Good news, bad news. You know, meteors impact the earth. It's a weighty thing that leaves a result. It leaves a mark, a trace. You know, it creates something that you then build on. So once you've made a small impact, once you repeat that, you know, it's sort of like pounding a nail. It's going to go deeper and deeper and deeper. Okay, why impact? This is something that people tend not to talk about or think about when posting on Facebook or Twitter or those things. But everything you're putting out onto the web, every appearance you make is an opportunity for you to create connection. And you're going to make an impact. Like it or not, intentional or not, you are making an impact. Your books were written to make an impact. You wrote them because there was something about that story, those characters, that journey, their message that was meaningful to you. When people read your book, the goal is it stays with them. It makes an impact. The characters made an impact. Your writing made an impact. Your social media posts will if you use them well. The other thing that's important is if when you're trying to make an impact, you will connect. When you're trying to make a sale, you will not. And it's interesting. Think about companies you know and like. The companies that try to make an impact are doing very well. The companies that are trying to make money every time the chance they get are struggling. If you're struggling and thinking about making money, any of this work, any of the business work we present to you here, any of the courses you take on business, if you're doing it to make money, it's not going to have the result you want. If you're doing it to make an impact, then the money will follow. So try not to think in terms, especially when it comes to social media, about money and sales. Even if you boost a post, think in terms of impact. And if you are going to spend money to boost a post, boost the ones with the biggest potential for impact. Okay. I hope that's kind of a new idea for you, because that's not what most people stop and think about. And I hope you're already starting to think about some places where you might be able to change how you're using social media simply by thinking about impact. So you want to create a plan. And start with just a 1-month plan. And if that feels overwhelming, start with 1 week. You'll start with an overall blog topic, and you'll follow that with related, more specific blogs. Then your social media posts, wherever you choose to connect through social media, relate back to the blog. So tinyurl.com will get you to our social media plan. I'm going to switch this off for just a second. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to switch back. And in my handy-dandy chat box, I'm going to put this in here as a link. So there you go. tinyurl.com, WBS social media plan. It's going to be a 1-month plan for you to look at and download. And I'm going to show it to you on the screen afterwards. But remember, you're going to start with a blog. It's such an important and wonderful place where you can make, well, you can see from the image. You can share, you can connect, you can create and inspire. One of the reasons as writers I like suggesting the blog is because it's creative and because it's writing. It connects very easily to what we already do. Good news is you really don't have to make them very long, okay? 250 to 500 words is fine as long as you're thinking about how you're sharing and how you're connecting. Remember, most people aren't going to be reading it on their screens. The number of people who read on devices, tablets, phones, and things like that is increasing, so you don't necessarily want something very, very long that they're going to have to scroll through. So the blog, why a blog? I mean, I mentioned that for writers, it's kind of a natural connection. But first, it creates findable content, and that means things that search engines can find, readers can find, all these other things. Google can find. Post things on Google+, by the way, because one of the new catchphrases is, if you forget Google, Google forgets you. So don't forget to post a little snippet on Google+ about that. And it's findable content that's findable forever, potentially. For a long, long time. You can refer back to it. You can eventually put blog posts together for free downloads and things like that. So you're starting to create content. As we mentioned, or as I mentioned, when it comes to impact, you're going to offer something of value to your audience. And I'll be a little more specific about that in just a moment. But your blog should not just be about, hey, this is my book. It can be, this is where I'm struggling, or I found a really great tool, or who knew that taking a daily walk was going to change not only my health and weight, but my writing as well. Now that's a piece of value to anybody who reads it, yes? Makes sense? Okay. Again, I mentioned earlier about setting you up as an authority. It sets you up as an expert in your field or, whoops, spelling error, or area of interest. So when you blog on something, it can be about something that is completely or seemingly unrelated to your book. What it's related to is you. I tend to blog about things that inspire me and how others can find inspiration just in their everyday life. I blog about connecting to our heart's desire. I'm a huge Wizard of Oz fan. Dorothy goes looking for her heart's desire. I'll even blog about the Wizard of Oz, and I can tell you I do know just about every line by heart. I am an expert and authority on the Wizard of Oz. Are there a lot of Wizard of Oz fans in the world? Oh my gosh, millions and millions and millions. Do some of them read romance novels? Quite a few. So if I connect, let's say I'm able with my blog to work to connect to everybody who loves The Wizard of Oz, the movie. In those millions and millions of people, I will find the numbers I need to read my book. And those people who don't read my genre may love to tell others about me. So for example, oh my gosh, I just read this great blog by Rachel Kenley on The Wizard of Oz, and hey, Jane, she writes romance and I know you love it. So I hope you can see kind of how that goes together. You start to set yourself up as you're an expert in your field or area of interest. I have a good friend who writes some of the most gruesome slashing horror novels I have ever read. The visceral images stay with me. But her blogs that get the most hits and reposts and comments are the ones she does about her dogs, her, oh, it's not a flying squirrel, sugar glider, and her posts about what she creates in her kitchen. Now that seems to have nothing to do with horror and dark fiction books. But among the millions of people who love to cook, some of them read dark fiction. So choose topics to connect your audience or your reader. Now, or notice it says different because your audience, if I'm writing about The Wizard of Oz, my audience is everybody who loves The Wizard of Oz. My readers are the ones who read romance and love The Wizard of Oz in this case. So can you see audience is very, very big. Your readership is a slightly smaller number. So start with an overarching topic for the first of the month. And we are in the first week of the month. 3 great ways to, 5 ideas for my 3 favorite. Use a number. Odd numbers are good. Even numbers are fine. For some reason, the psychology says we like odd numbers better. So, 3 great things to look for when watching The Wizard of Oz. My 3 favorite lessons from The Wizard of Oz. 5 ideas for Halloween costumes from The Wizard of Oz without being a character. Go as the house, go as the road. Yeah. So choose an overall topic that will connect. And then you start breaking it down. I'm going to mention platform here. When I say you're an authority, remember I just said about audience versus reader, your platform, your area of interest. For me, it's Heart's Desire. For Melissa, my co-founder, it's healthy communication. Your platform is how you reach your audience, which is the big group, and within that audience, you're going to find your target readers. Not instantly, but ultimately. When you work from your platform, you're going to be treating your writing as a business naturally, and you will find yourself getting better and quantifiable results. So when you think about that area, or the 2 or 3 areas, don't want to be an expert on everything, that are going to help you reach a huge audience. Now you're treating your writing as a business because now you're reaching out and making a connection. When Stephen King stopped publishing for a while, he said he was never going to publish again. I don't think anybody believed that, but he didn't actually turn out to be true. But one of the things he did during that time was he had a column for Entertainment Weekly, and I don't remember if it was monthly or every other week, but it was on pop culture and movies, which are something he loves along with baseball. So he doesn't write or blog very often just about writing or horror or movies. He writes about what he loves, baseball and movies. In fact, he did this whole wonderful article on how he chooses his concession stand foods, what his preferences are, and the order in which he eats them during the movie. And the memory that stuck up, the place I found myself literally connecting to him on was he ordered Junior Mints, which is something I frequently like at the movies, but he brings toothpicks with him so that they don't get stuck at the bottom and he doesn't have to hold the box and get them melty. Now, if I were an audience member who loves the movies and loved the spot, I might for the first time think, I've got something in common with Stephen King. Maybe I should give his books a look. Now, never once did he mention his books, but I can bet you he found new readers because he found a bigger audience, an audience he wasn't necessarily reaching in the horror section of your Barnes & Noble. So I hope this is making sense. I hope this is helping you to see that idea about audience versus readers and how you can connect with them. I did promise to help you on taking the time to do this. And I'm very specific about, maybe it's because I'm a writer, but I'm very specific about the phrase taking the time. You will never find it. It's not hidden somewhere. And sadly, as much as many of us have tried, you will not make time. You've got the same 24 hours. We've all got it. And sadly, there's just no way. There's none hiding, and there's no way to make it appear. But you can take it. You need to ask for it. You need to look at the time you spend on your writing and on other parts of your life, and see where you can ask for help to have somebody else do something and take the time. Maybe it's having your kids or spouse do one household chore one day a week. I mean, if you didn't have to think about laundry or dishes or the car or whatever it is, one day a week, how much time could that give you? Be serious about it. Thank them for their support, because really, none of us, if you've ever read the acknowledgments of any book, none of us ever, we write alone, and yet the creation of a book never happens alone. At the Writers Business School, we say to use a 4-to-1 ratio, so that for every 4 hours of writing time you have scheduled and that you've set aside, try 1 hour of business. Look, another typo, forever. No, for every 4 hours. So 4-to-1, 5 hours. If you have 5 hours of time, use 4 for writing, 1 for business. And you can break that up. You don't have to sit there for an hour doing business. Hour of writing, 15 minutes of business. I happen to know Jonathan Mayberry, and he has said this on his website and other things. He does 50, he's like a psychiatrist, 50 minutes of writing, 10 minutes of social media. Checks in on Facebook, updates people on his word count, takes pictures of him walking his dog Rosie, asks people what they're working on. He engages. He creates a bridge. He creates a connection. So if it feels, especially if it feels overwhelming, start small, make it manageable, make it focused. Take 10 minutes. Say, this 10 minutes that I spend on social media is going to be focused on my business and how I can connect with my audience. Okay. One of the things you want to make sure is it's out there slowly but surely is consistent quality content. Okay. You want to be consistent about your interactions. If you're going to be on Facebook a lot, great. If you're going to be on Twitter every now and then, fine. Choose what works for you. But always keep putting out new content, preferably findable. Books, shorts, free downloads, character interviews, and blog posts. The picture I have here is author Gail Carriger. Now, Gail Carriger is her writing name. Her real name is actually very foreign sounding. She has a bachelor's and a master's in archaeology and other sciences, and you might be able to tell from her picture that she writes steampunk urban fantasy. You probably can't tell the urban fantasy from there, but you can tell that sort of the Victoriana thing is something she loves. Tea, lace, machinery, archaeology. So I'm going to switch out of this. I'm going to show you how she does this. Now, she's been published since, I checked for certain, her first book came out in 2009. So she's been doing this for 7 years. So please note, you are seeing 7 years of cumulative work. But she was also a business person before she did this, and she sold her series so that it came out every 6 months for the first, I think, 3 years. There was a book every 6 months. It did win some awards. That is helpful. That's definitely on the best writing side. But as far as the best selling, which happened by I think the second book made the New York Times bestseller list on the extended list, and then the third book made it on the regular list. But let me switch over and let me show you Gail and what she does. So if you look up her name, her images, this is what you'll see. And you will notice, in addition to, obviously, the covers of her books, you will see a woman who has a very specific visual image. So when she appears, when she is out as Gail, she is wearing, this is actually a t-shirt she sells, but still the hat, the earrings, the glasses, the whole ensemble. When she meets people, doesn't matter how they're dressed, that's how she's dressed. It's how you recognize her. And it connects very nicely with her book covers. Okay, so this is an image and a brand and something she knows a lot about. I will add that about her. She knows etiquette, and she knows, this is, by the way, her real name. She knows a lot about this, and she makes sure that she shares it and creates an impact. So what happens is this becomes her website. Very important. About is right there at the top. Yes, you can get more information, including her press kit, and we did a free class on that. About Gail, she writes steampunk comedies of manners mixed with paranormal. Her books include, she's published in many languages, very simple, and she was once an archaeologist and is overly fond of shoes, octopuses, and tea. Guess what she blogs a lot about? Yes, she blogs about her book, but she blogs about archaeology, shoes, octopuses, and tea. Look at the images from her books. All right, so if you go to her blogs, she actually writes one about retro fashion, but she puts out consistent content. So notice today, because she had a new, yesterday, well, 2 days ago, she had a new book come out. Today, she blogged about one of the characters, not about selling the book, but about the character and what it meant to her. Novella, Supernatural Society. Comedy author looks at humor on the internet. See? Ketchup blog. So a lot of different things. That's her blog. All right, so go into the blog and let's see how she adds value. So here's the character in the book, creating the character, images that made her think of her. This is actually a novella that came out. And the project roundup. Not very long. And this is where she's been creative. Her daily dose of parasols. She puts a picture of a parasol. Your infusion of cute. Your tisane of smart. Writerly tinctures. And a quote. She does that all the time. That's value. That's consistency. It works beautifully. All right? For her group, she has the Parasol Protectorate. It has over 4,000 people. She posts about her blog. She responds to posts. Does anyone buy or make their parasol? Gail liked it. She'll talk to you about it. Okay. She has a Pinterest page, more social media. Things about the things she loves, connection, interest, Victorian era, the series, tea, the events she goes to, deadly inspirations. Look at this. Octopuses. I'm sure there's one on shoes here somewhere. The fashion. Things about her characters. Can you see where when people go to her Pinterest page, when people go to her Facebook page, they're going to connect. She's making an impact with all of these pieces. She's making a lasting impact. She's creating an emotion. She's making you feel a connection. Look what other people post about her. It's incredible. And she even has a wiki because she has 4 long series at this point. So that is something to aspire to. Again, remember, this is 7, almost 8 years in the making. She had done some of this before the first book came out. She was getting ready. She would, even before the book came out, this is how she would look when she was visiting and out and in public and speaking and things like that. So consistent quality content. Your books, your shorts, your blog posts, your all of it should be quality, the best you can make it, and you should be putting it out consistently because that's what's going to make you more and more findable. All right. Now that I've panicked you, I'm going to ask you to relax. Don't worry. You do not have to make every blog, Facebook update, Twitter comment about your platform, about your areas of interest. You can always be you. This is going to be an ongoing process, and you'll get better at it over time, and you can do things other than that. If you have a rotten day, if you she has a daily dose of cute, you can throw that in. If you always love to post a picture of your cats. My older son is a thrifter and has a thrifting business. So I could and probably should think about my daily thrift picture. Because most of the people who follow me know that I'm dragged, since he doesn't drive yet, to thrift store after thrift store. So always be you. And when you have a bad day or a good day or discover something, post it. It's not about everything, but you do want the consistency. So I love this quote from Arthur Ashe. Start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you can. One of the things we talk about a lot here at the Writers Business School is starting where you are. Whatever you've done so far is great. What you haven't done yet is ahead of you, and that's fine. This is not a race. This is and it's not a sprint. It's a marathon. This is a slow, steady build that's going to create an ongoing and increasing income for you, because you are creating an ongoing and increasing impact with a wider and wider audience reach, which is going to increase your name recognition and therefore ultimately your book sales. So don't reinvent, don't panic, don't overdo. Look at what you've done that's worked. And look at what you've done that hasn't. Look at the blog posts that seem flat. Go back and look at them. Take them down. You've got control over that. Adjust, eliminate, and add. Look at your Facebook page. Look at your Twitter feed. The things you've put out there. Delete the things that seem to stand out as unauthentic, unnecessary, dead weight, for lack of a better word. Google yourself, see what comes up. Look at the pictures of you on the web. Start thinking of how you want to be seen and perceived and how you want to make an impact from here forward. Chances are you haven't done anything that you can't grow on, and the things that you've done that haven't worked, you can make new impact. And that's what people are going to remember. They remember the newest ones. So if you send out something that gets a response and then you kind of keep hitting that note, it's going to grow. It's going to last. And that bridge you start to create gets stronger and holds more people. And please remember, when you're out there on social media, I love this, you are not a jar of Nutella. You are not, you're not have to appeal to everyone. You are not going to appeal to everyone. It's just not possible. I've also seen this with pizza, but I like Nutella better. Don't even try to reach everyone. It's a waste of your time, and it ultimately won't give you the results you want for a lot of reasons. One, you can't reach everyone. Two, you can't tell if you've reached everyone. You can start to tell when you're making an impact with the audience that connects with you. So again, reach the reader who most connects with you and your book. And by you, I mean your platform, the things of interest. Movies, food, sports, clothing, children, families, pets. It's endless, absolutely endless. But when it comes from you, from the things you most enjoy, love, could read about forever, could talk about forever, the connections you will make become natural. It doesn't feel like you're pushing yourself on anyone. It's natural, it works, and it builds. Gail Carriger's website and her Facebook page and her Pinterest page did not, poof, materialize out of nowhere. She spends business time on it. She knows how to connect to her readers. She knows what her readers will enjoy seeing, what they'll have fun with. All right, so some next steps. And one step at a time. We do this in all of our webinars so that you so that you hopefully don't get overwhelmed. First, take a day or two to review what you've done. What have you put out there social media-wise? Take a look at your time. How much time have you been spending there just having fun, and how much time have you been out there really looking to make a connection? Okay, make a list of the parts of social media you like and understand the best. I have a preference for Facebook. Melissa has a preference for Twitter. Some people adore Instagram. Some prefer Snapchat, but you can start linking at least 2 of those together. Okay. So focus on the ones you like or understand the best. Don't think, oh my gosh, I've got to do all of these. And in fact, the download, I think, shows Pinterest. And I don't know where that slide went. I know I had a slide that showed the, I just realized that. We have a slide that shows the social media plan. I'll have to go back and look for that one. So choose the outlets you're going to use, and then come up with your first overall blog post. So 4 best, top 5 favorites. So your first blog post of the month will be that general one, top 5, 4 best. And you'll write a general blog. And then the next week, you go into depth about one of those favorites, and then another favorite, and then another favorite. And you connect your other parts of your plan to your blog. I'm going to step out of this for a second, see if I can find that page. I know it's here, and I don't know how. It's not here. Oh my God, I must have accidentally deleted it. I'm so sorry. I hope you guys downloaded the social media plan and have it, but for some reason I managed to accidentally delete that slide. Well, file under yes, the teacher is human. You do have the link there, though, and please stay in touch with us. You can find us on Facebook at writersbusinessschool.com. You can email us at writersbusinessschool@gmail.com. So if you have any questions, please let me know. But you write the big blog post, and then you put out a tweet about it. You know, what do you think of the easiest cookies to make over the holiday season? If you like Pinterest, you can put up pictures of them. If you're a visual person, it's great. Facebook is still the queen or king, emperor of the social media world. So if you don't like it or understand it, at least find a way to use it to your advantage. I'm not suggesting you get on it all the time and fall down that rabbit hole, but at least get on it for your business. And then join a few of the Facebook groups that are on your interests, not on writing, but on the cookies, the pets, the sports, all of those things. Get into the things. Join the groups, support the groups that connect you to your audience, your peeps, your tribe, the people who like what you like. Okay. All you need to do is the one step at a time. 15 minutes after an hour of writing. Try 15 minutes a day for a week. At the end of the week, see what you've accomplished. Write down each thing as you do it, and you'll see you will build, you will connect, and ultimately you will find that you've got a working social media plan that people are responding to, they're commenting on your blog, they're liking your posts, and you will get the audience reach and reader connection that you've been trying to build.